At this point, we have a beautiful kind of a surprise musical offering today, a lovely musical offering that is we're going to look forward to. And Michele Sullivan, Michele Edwards, Michele Roosevelt Edwards, and together with her team, her crew, her singers and her musician are going to perform God Bless America.
All we've been given by those who came before, the dream of a nation where freedom would endure. And prayers of centuries have brought us to this day. What shall be our legacy? What will our children say? Let them say of me, I was one who believed in sharing the blessings I received. Let me know in my heart when my days are through. America, America, I gave my best to you. Each generation from the plains to distant shores, with the gifts that they were given, were determined to leave more. Valiant battles fought together, acts of conscience fought alone. These are the seeds from which America has grown. Let them say of me, I was one who believed in sharing the blessings I received. Let me know in my heart when my days are through. America, America, I gave my best to you. For those who think they have nothing to share, with fear in their hearts, there is no hero there. No, each quiet work of dignity is that which fortifies the soul of a nation that never dies. Let them say of me, I was one who believed in sharing the blessings I received. Let me know in my heart when my days are through. America, 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 I gave my best to you. Thank you.
We're all sitting here waiting for the encore. Thank you so much. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Wonderful, thank you. Gonna dump dumbstruck here. That was amazing. You? Thank you.
Carnegie Hall level.
Yeah, thank you.
That's the dream.
Now, we'd like to welcome up Mrs. Michele Roosevelt Edwards, and you have the bios there with you. In the interest of time, I'm not going to read actually her bio together with G. Van Fleet's bio and Pastor John's, and everybody's bio is 2 or 3 pages. So what you have there is just a snippet of their lives, their achievements, their successes, and the beauty of who they are. So I'm not going to take time now to go into the bios, but I just want us to all give a very, very warm welcome to Michele Roosevelt Edwards.
First and foremost, I want to thank Dr. Frank Kaufman, who is the president of the Settlement Project, and very important work that you're doing here. And Carl, as moderator, it's absolutely fantastic that you're the compere for today. Debbie and Chris, without the relationship I have with you, we wouldn't be here today because you've been so kind to invite me. And I want to thank Stephen Murray, who has the voice of God in our ears today as a nation under God. This is an incredibly important undertaking, is to remember how important music is. I have 2 degrees in music as well. How important music is and has been to our nation, how it's led our people into battle, and how it's become the central part of our worship of our God and our country. So I want to thank him, and Robert, who's artful skills as an organist, which I am as well, since I'm 12 years old on the organ bench here in Virginia. Those are our gifts and our talents that God gave us at birth. We're in the right spot here at Patrick Henry College, where this was an incredibly important voice that called us to the front in our earliest days here in our republic. I want to thank this college for the work that it's doing, and for Abigail, for these young people who will step into the breach when those of us who have been in the battlefield for 30 and 40 years, I'm very much one of those, having fought with Ronald Reagan in the Reagan Revolution in the 1980s in West Virginia on the campus of WVU in Morgantown, and how important it was that we wrestled the country back and took the chance Reagan gave us to course correct the ship of state. And it seems that we're in this 40-year political reset where, coming out of World War II, and my late husband was a naval officer in World War II, that was the great generation. We're losing those patriots because of time. And to be able to have witnessed what they brought to Europe, I've just returned late last night from Eastern Europe, and I'm going to share some of that with you because it's a bearing on where we are here in the United States and how we need to undertake the important work in the next 3 days in this critical election, the special election, which will define whether people in the Shenandoah Valley have any representation at all. It's extremely important. And for a handful of people who will, in Fairfax County, 4 or 5 congressional seats, I forget the exact number, will define the outcome at the new Congress in January as we head into a very, very critical time also in the midterms. And we will not reach 28. This is our fault line. This is truly our fault line year. I come from West Virginia, from those fair hills where the state motto is Montane Semper Libere, which is Latin for mountaineers are always free. We don't like wearing another man's collar, and starting with what's happened in this country with the election of Barack Hussein Obama in 2008, and really the tyranny of weaponization of government that has ensued from his very carefully calculated plan to transform this country into something none of us would recognize or want to live in, has been marching forward and accelerated in hyperdrive under Joe Biden and his administration. We're very, very lucky to have won the 2024 election with President Donald Trump, and how the Great Reset he started again from Reagan in 1980 to 2024. It's that 40-year crucible that we're hitting, And here we are again, really up on that front line where international globalism, the hardcore left, Marxism, communism, which Z. Van Fleet was terribly experienced by as a child, which brought her to a national standing to understand what those signs and symbols are that are relevant in this county, in Loudoun County, in schoolhouses of children who should not be thinking about these issues of transgenderism and not listening to their parents at the kitchen table and not living their life free of this type of pure evil is exactly what it is. We are in this cycle and we must prevail in 3 days and again in November. We won't reach 28 if we do not do that. When I was in Eastern Europe, I was in Serbia with some European conservative political leaders after being in Hungary during the loss of the election of Viktor Orbán in Budapest just some days ago. And we were in a 14th century monastery in a place called the Holy Hill, where there's more monasteries in that part of Eastern Europe than any place in the world. It's deeply faithful people. And they look here to us, people from Serbia who lived under the tyranny of the Soviet Union, that great evil empire that Ronald Reagan broke the back of, not with a bullet, but with the kindness of his voice and his clarity to say, Mr. Gorbachev, bring down this wall. We're there at that moment again. And I can tell you, when they looked at me across the table and said, is MAGA dead? It's a very sobering comment that came up from my throat to say, it's not dead. It was started by one unique human being, Donald J. Trump, who I truly believe God put in this place at this moment in order to take the hard heat that came from the left, from his education, his military training, that hard personality that fought the New York settlement of real estate and building. I couldn't think of a more difficult environment to be a real estate developer than in New York City, then and especially now under Marxist endowment. But Donald Trump, it took that hard shell of Donald Trump to withstand the burnishing he's taken for each and every one of us. That fire on the back that would have broken any mortal man. He did that for us. And we have to transform MAGA, make America great again, from the vision of one man we can never thank enough. And history will recall as being one of our greatest presidents in an honest moment, that it is a national movement. That's the bridge we must now cross. That's extremely important. And I said this enduring freedom that the American people will take the mantle and move and come on their feet for is the Make America Great Again movement. They want MAGA behind what was the Iron Curtain. I saw it firsthand in their faces in the streets of Belgrade. I returned from there late last night, so I come fresh from these travels to say to you, it matters there what happens here. In this special election, in Shenandoah Valley, the votes that come out of Berryville and down in Roanoke and over in Culpeper, where you're from, all of these important votes that have to be counted in our favor to say no and to checkmate these signs. Yes, stop Trump. They've personalized this battle. For the hard left, this is not about preserving our country. It's about formalizing their takeover of our constitutional republic. We are not a democracy. Be clear on this fact. Our founders were very, very learned and faithful men. They understood what it was going to take for them to put the chips in the middle of the table, every last one of them, and risk everything, including their lives, to deliver what we have today so that we can have an institution like this, that we can worship in our churches, where in Europe, which has been decimated by radical political Islam to the point that priests are murdered on their altars. People are afraid to even attend Easter services in Jerusalem because of the threat of radical political Islam and that evil fusion of Marxism and communism and radical Islam cannot be underestimated. It's moving and it's here. The enemy is within. And if we don't stand up to this redistricting fight and be able to hold the House and the Senate, our president will be impeached. We will be confronted by an aggressive form of tyranny and an assault on our rights and liberties, the likes of which we have never seen in this country. And I, for one, will not turn this country over to the likes of those people. They're internationally funded, they're globalist in their perspective, and they are on a march to the very end where they believe, truly believe, that they're going to win this battle. So for each and every one of us, the enemy is here. Let us all understand what our role is in this, so that we have the great responsibility on our shoulders to preserve what Jefferson, what Thomas Jefferson, what Adams, what all of our great founding fathers entrusted to us, the responsibility to ensure public virtue in this process, and to be able to maintain the liberties entrusted to us and promised to us by God Almighty, that we have another 250 years in front of us. And our battle cry is God and country, nothing less. I want to thank you all for this opportunity to speak, and I'm going to ask our great singer next to us here to close with God Bless America. Thank you.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us raise our voices to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair, as we lift our voices in a solemn prayer. Bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Wow. Thank you, Michele. Thank you so much. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Robert. Thank you very much. Boy, Michele brought the spirit of Ronald Reagan. She brought the musicians, the piano, the singers. Wow, amazing. We're definitely going to have them back, right? Definitely have them back. And actually, we're planning to get together with Debbie and Chris and Frank and myself, and a number of us want to get together with you offline later and meet and put our heads together and see what we can do together, working with Moms for Liberty, Turning Point, and others to do something really big in the very near future. So thank you so much. Thank you.